In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to get link authorization with AirMap. Before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is a YouTube SEO tool that helps you grow your channel using tags, titles, thumbnails. It's an amazing tool and it's what I've been using to grow this YouTube channel. So definitely check out my link in the description below. And by clicking on it, you'll learn more information and even get a free trial. If you guys have any questions, leave me a comment in the comment section below, but let's get into the actual topic of the video. For those of you that don't know what link authorization is, it's to get permission to fly your drone in what otherwise would be controlled airspace where you wouldn't be able to fly your drone. So for example, if you live near an airport like I do, you have to get link authorization to get permission to fly around it. And usually when you get link authorization, there are certain flight ceilings that you need to abide by. So I have AirMap open, and right now what I'm looking at is pieces of two gigantic circles. That would be the controlled airspace where airports are. So here's the Deer Valley Airport airspace, and to the right here is the Scottsdale Airport airspace. And if we zoom into the Scottsdale one, you can see there are several 0 tick marks, as well as 100, 200, 300. These are the flight ceilings that I was referring to. So where it says 0, you wouldn't be able to fly there at all. There is no link authorization for that area. But if you fly in the quadrant that's 100, you can fly up to 100 feet. Same for 200, you can fly up to 200 feet. So that's what those tick marks mean. And I see so many people that don't know what they mean, and they just get link authorization and they launch the drone and they fly as high as they want, like they usually do. And you're not allowed to fly as high as you want, first of all. And second of all, you do have to be careful of these flight ceilings if you're flying near an airport. So we're gonna go back over to where I live near the Deer Valley Airport. And right behind my house and right behind the canal, you'll see like this big open area near the 51 and the 101. Since my house sits right along the canal, it's a really easy area to fly. And in this area, there are specific flight ceilings. So where I live in is a 400-foot flight ceiling, so I can fly up to 400 feet. Now, if you look to the right here, you'll see 300. You need to watch out for this because this little quadrant here, if I zoom in, see how small that little space is over the 51? That's 300-foot flight ceiling just in that little space alone. If we go up here, you'll see the next space above that is a 400-foot flight ceiling. So they do change and they do vary based on where you're at. And this right here, guys, is how you're gonna be able to get link authorization. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a hard press on where you want to get authorization on your phone screen. You'll see a circle come up, and this circle will represent the radius of where you're flying within. So if I get link authorization for this area, I have to stay within this radius. Now for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna drag it out to something more realistic, like 1,000 feet, and something that still keeps you within the visual line of sight. So here we've got our radius selected, and we're close to that 300, but we're actually in the 400 zones, as you can see here. So we're actually okay in terms of flying up to 400 feet. So before we go on to the next step, I want to show you guys the other ways that you can select your radius. So you have two options below that. You have a line with a squiggle and you have a box. And so the line with the squiggle is, say you know that you're going to be on a set path. You've got a drone, it's programmed, it's going to be on a set path. With this, you can draw that set path. So that set path is where this drone will be flying if you select that. So that's good if maybe you're like doing a surveying mission for a company, or you're doing something very specific with a very specific flight pattern or flight path. This would be the one to select. And then the other one below that is drawing your own radius. So if I want to draw my own circle, I can do that, and boom, there it is, and you can draw it exactly to how you want to do it. Now, I have used this one actually many times so that I can avoid the 300-foot flight area. Say if I want to fly in a bigger radius and I just want to avoid that 300-foot flight area, this is a good one to use. So for the sake of this video, I'm gonna go back to the regular radius here, draw out 1,000 feet, and we're gonna go to the next step. So you hit next. So give it a second. Sometimes it takes longer than other times. So here you're gonna select your altitude. Like I said, we're in the 400-foot quadrant, so I'm gonna drag it out to 400 feet and select the amount of time that you're gonna fly. So I'm just gonna do 1 hour. Right here it says pilot and aircraft. If you have multiple drones, definitely make sure you select which drone you're flying with. I'm usually flying with the Mavic 2 Pro in my backyard, so this is perfect. Now, right here it asks you about insurance. You really should have drone insurance. If you don't, it is a smart thing to get in case your drone has a problem. Like say it crashes, these batteries can really cause a lot of damage if they explode, and you want to make sure that you're properly insured and prepared if something like that were to happen. Now, I use Verifly for insurance if I'm flying for a drone job. If I'm flying recreationally, if I'm being honest, I don't usually have insurance for those flights since I'm not doing anything too risky with the drone, but it still would be smart to think about getting insurance. So guys, I skipped that scrolling part so that I could block out some of this information, but here you're gonna put your phone number, you're gonna put your last name, then it asks you, please provide a brief note to justify the safety of the operation. Explain some of the things that you're going to do to mitigate risk and to be a safe pilot. It's very quick and easy to do. Just say that you're gonna keep it within visual line of sight, that you're gonna make sure that your drone stays below 400 feet or whatever the flight ceiling is. Just reiterate the important safety procedures that you need to follow. Then you're gonna put your first name, and then you're gonna select the speed of the flight, the weight of the drone. Below that, it's gonna ask you what the expected visibility is at takeoff. 10 miles today. It's always clear in Phoenix for the most part, so I'm gonna just go with that. Then you're gonna answer whether the drone has anti-collision lighting. Is it registered? Is the flight occurring within visual line of sight? Does the pilot and command have a Part 107 certification? Have you completed your pre-flight check for airworthiness and communications connectivity? So have you checked your drone to basically make sure it's working okay? If all that is yes, or say it's no for Part 107, that's okay because you're allowed to request blank authorization even if you're a recreational pilot. After this, you're just gonna hit next. And here it's gonna show you some information about the weather. It's gonna show you for the next 4 hours here. It shows you the visibility, the temperature, the wind speed. So those are all good things to have. Below that, it shows the authorization requests. So this right here is green, which means that this would get passed if I submitted this. And below that are just some basic rules about the Class G airspace I'm operating in, and you know, some more information and rules to go over a lot. If you want to read through that, you can. Rules to follow while rules you are following, so make sure that you're following those rules. So once you go through all that, you can submit the flight. Now, once you submit the flight, since you gave them your phone number, you're actually going to get a text message with approval to fly. So as you can see on the screen here, it says success. If I scroll down here, you can see the text with the confirmation number for this flight, and we're gonna X out of there. And it says success, your flight plan has been submitted to AirMap and is pending authorization from Phoenix Deer Valley. And the text was basically it not pending anymore, it's confirmed. So right now I have a full hour to fly in this area. The airport knows about it and everybody can be safe. So if you are done with the flight early, you can actually end the flight. So I'm gonna end the flight because I'm not really flying right now. And once you're done with that, you will have record of this flight by going up to your name, flights. Now, sometimes it does this. It says you have no current flights. Then I X out of there and I go back to flights and they all pop up. So that's just a weird glitch with AirMap. Just be aware of that. But it shows you all of your flights as well as the confirmation numbers, details about when the flight took place. So those are all good things to know. So yeah, guys, that is how easy it is to get blank authorization with AirMap. Sorry about the background noise. I've got neighbors doing yard work and things going on, but I wanted to deliver a video to you guys telling you guys how to do this because it is important that we all follow the rules of the sky so that we can keep flying our drones safely, legally, and happily. If you liked today's video, definitely hit the thumbs up button. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you're updated when I create new videos here on the channel. And that is all, guys. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.